Saying trade target Quinn Hughes. I think that's a bit of a stretch of reality. The only reason it's coming up is Vancouver themselves confessed everybody's on the board.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be a topic if it wasn't coming up in every insider's podcast and whatnot. So I agree with you, Vented. Like, I think he's going to New Jersey, but I think this is something where we could look back and say, like, how many times, Mike, we are actually in like the lips of our insiders, or like they're saying Red Wings for the first time in a while for a top target like this.
The time that we were on their lips, so to speak, was when they said Mitchell Marner. Absolutely no way in hell is he going to the Detroit Red Wings. Let's move on.
Right.
So for them to even entertain this idea to humor the city of Detroit, I'm gonna put a little stock into that. I'm gonna push a few chips in.
And I think there were instances where big names have been moved and we were nowhere near the conversation. And it's like, well, yeah, like it wouldn't even make sense for us to get a 25, 26-year-old at that time because of all of our young rookies, and we're going to want them to sort of blah, 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 blah. Now we're at that point where the team is showing positive movement. They're showing the success. We have another super duper star showing himself as Moritz Seider, another superstar in Lucas Raymond, who's both producing at elite levels. Look, a name like this doesn't pop up all the time. And your GM either takes advantage of it or they don't. And, I think it's just one of those things. I think we need at some point to start looking at Steve Yzerman and saying, did he do enough to bring in superstar talent for this team that's required to get to the next level? But at some point, you got to do a little bit extra. And right now, the team is proving that even with having some pretty good looking superstars in Seider and Raymond, that it's not enough.
I just wanted to touch on Vented had a few comments I really liked. They were saying, I think players now are all going to one team they want to go to. It's a shame, but it's like the NBA now. I don't think it's that different, Vented. I think you could look at the Stanley Cup runs of the Red Wings of the late 90s and the 2000s. I mean, that was full of guys who just wanted to go and win a title, right? With Brett Hall and Hasek wanted to do that, and Robitaille wanted to go do that. It was a lengthy list of dudes who were like, I haven't won a cup yet. I want to go win one. I'm going to go to Detroit. I want to go win. You don't need to list some jerk on a podcast telling you how to feel, but it's like, I don't feel discouraged by that. I think you should, like, as a fan of a hockey team, you could feel encouraged to think that all that it takes to kind of seduce players to coming to your team is winning and feeling like the goal of the franchise is to win, not give you a phone call and tell you, hey, our franchise is 106 years old. Isn't that great? We're an original 16. And are we going to win anything anytime soon? Well, we're going to make a bunch of pragmatic decisions and do a nice slow burn where, we're going to be mediocre for a really long time. And, maybe one of these years, the odds will flip in our favor and we'll squeak in as the 8th seed. And you won't believe it. Maybe we'll win a few games or two. Doesn't that sound fun? No, I want to go win. So I think the difference is, Vegas is like the Red Wings 20 years ago, and you can be a destination that teams want to go to, but you have to demonstrate to them that you're interested in winning, not making pragmatic, slow burn moves that frankly, I don't know if they're ever going to pan out because, first round picks have panned out, right? So I think if you make a move like this, it kind of opens eyes around the league that, wow, all right, the Red Wings are a little serious now. Because they're actually, trying something risky, trying something for the now. And, it's so much easier to pitch to potential players to join your team when you're demonstrating our goal is to win today. We want to win hockey games. We want to get good players. We want this to be an enjoyable experience for you. And I don't think that this, what I think what Steve would call a pragmatic approach is a sexy offer to a potential, incoming player on a trade or a free agent. But if you're bringing Quinn in, and I got to say, if you're doing that, you probably need one more trade to like shore up the top 6. To like, you're doing this, you might as well go for it, man. Just the point is, I'm not discouraged by this. I'm encouraged because like you should want to go to teams that want to win. It doesn't matter what color the laundry is. Like you want to go to organizations that are trying aggressively